Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today I just wanted to give you an update on what's been going on with me and with our move and all of that. We do have a contract on our house. It was only on the market 7 days when we got a contract, so we are very thankful for that. And we just got that this past Sunday, so this is Friday, so it's just been a couple of days. We've had inspections done and those are all good, and on Monday the appraiser is coming out, so we got a really good offer, and we're looking forward to moving on. So when the appraiser gets done, then we can start packing stuff and getting ready for the move. Now we close in November, early in November on the 10th, so we've got to find a rental place, so we're going to do that this weekend. We're going to search, do some searching and some looking and seeing if we can find a rental. Rental property is really hard to get out here, so you know, we're going to have to be flexible and you know, just take what we can get pretty much. The big issue is we do have a small dog, so that's non-negotiable, so we can only take places that will accept pets, so we'll go with that. We're looking for rentals this weekend. So as far as getting ready for the house sale, I can show you a little bit of the studio and kind of what I did for that, but basically I tidied up and I decluttered as much as I can. Now I showed some of the things that I had done, like with the fabric and how I went through things. I did go through everything and got rid of things that I didn't think I would use, and I still have quite a bit here, but it's not an overwhelming amount of stuff, but it's enough. Another thing I did was I didn't bring in a lot of new stuff. I had told myself I wasn't going to buy any new fabric until the house sold, and I didn't, but as soon as the house sold I went and I bought fabric, but I didn't buy a lot. I bought 2 charm packs and a yard for background, so that's all I bought. But this is for my Christmas project for this year. Now I normally make a quilt every Christmas, but this year I don't know where I'm going to be at this point, and I kind of need to get something planned. So what I decided to do was to make small blocks, 3-inch and 4-inch blocks, and they can be put together as a small wall hanging, or they could make individual ornaments. So I'm going to kind of play around with both ideas. That's why I bought 2 charm packs. I wanted to use something small too. I didn't want to buy, you know, a lot of yardage, because once again I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know if I'll have a good setup for sewing. That's kind of why like a 3-bedroom would be great, because then I could have a place to set up my sewing machine. If we can't get a 3-bedroom, then it's going to be dragging out the sewing machine onto the kitchen table every time I want to sew. So that's kind of a hassle, but you know, I did it for years. I never had a sewing room until we bought this house, and then we lived in it for a couple of years before I decided to use part of the basement as my sewing area. So you know, I already had the long arm down here, but I was doing all my domestic machine sewing upstairs on my dining room table. So you know, I kind of just rearranged things to give myself some space. So we've also we've talked to the builder, and we've gone to the lumber yard, and we've submitted our plans to them, and they're tweaking them for us, because we found a plan that's really close to what we want, but it needed a few tweaks. So they're working on that, and he said it wouldn't take long, so I figure a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and he'll have those plans for us. And the builder said he's not going to take on any new work until January, so he can get the dirt work done in January, and he should have the house done by June or July. So you know, that's not bad, but you know, in the meantime we need to get a place to live, a rental. And if we can't find a rental, I mean, we're not stuck. We do own that property, and it has 10 acres, so we can get a camper or something to put on there and, you know, just live in a really confined space for a couple of months. So, you know, it's been done. I had a niece who did that. She and her husband built a house, and they sold the house they were living in, and they already had a camper. So, and they had a young daughter. She was, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8, something like that. I can't remember how old she was at the time. But they went around from, you know, campsite to campsite and RV park to RV park. And they spent 2 weeks at one place, and then they moved 2 weeks in another. And they did that for 4 months. So, you know, it can be done. A lot of people live in their RVs. So we could do that too. Only ours won't have to move other than to, you know, dump every couple weeks. So that's all we'd have to do. So that'll be a different lifestyle for us. I also wanted to show you a little bit more of these fabrics and kind of what I have in mind. And then I want to show you some blocks that I have cut out. And I did cut out 3 different blocks to make tutorials on, and hopefully I can get those tutorials made before we move, and I'll work on that. If not, then I'll kind of do these vlog type videos, so there's some content coming in. But I'll show you these fabrics, and I'll show you the patterns that I created on EQ8. Okay, so I'm going to show you this pattern. These patterns I'm going to show you are from the Ladies Art Company, so they're vintage patterns, and they will make 12-inch blocks. This one is called Mosaic number 19, and you can see it is a star, and it's made with a square and a square in the center, flying geese, and half square triangles. So this is one of the patterns that I'm going to make, and I cut the fabrics out of what was left over from the chicken salad quilt. So this is the cookbook fabric. Okay, so here is the back row fabric. You can see that, and these are the outside corners of the square and a square, and then these are the bases for the flying geese and the half square triangles. Now I went ahead and I cut out triangle paper for that, so I'm going to use triangle paper to make the half square triangles. And then here is the center of the block. So this isn't going to be the background fabric that I have here in this picture here. I'm going to use this one instead. So there is Mosaic number 19. And then this one is Mosaic number 13. So this is another star block. This is made to look like a diamond right here. So it's kind of gives you like a pinwheel effect also. So same fabrics, same line of fabrics actually, not the same fabrics. But the colorways, you know, I've got teal and yellow in all of this, and that's because that's kind of what I've got in my house right now. The new house, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it'll probably be kind of similar. So this is all half square triangles. Now you can make this block with flying geese units. In fact, that's what it was designed as, with flying geese units, but I thought I'd do half square triangles on this one, just to do things a little bit different. So I've got triangle paper again, and there's the fabrics, the background, and the triangle fabric for this one. And then here's this one. This little yellow flower here. Now there's, you know, a lot of different ways to make blocks. Just by changing your seam lines, you can come up with different ways to do it, like the flying geese. The reason I decided to do them all half square triangles is because you've got to remember what side to put which fabric, which it's all on the same side. It's all going to be, you know, yellow on the left and the teal on the right, but it's real easy to get them turned around when you're sewing, and then you've got a lot of ripping out to do. This way you're going to make 4 sets of half square triangles for each colorway, and you make them with a diagonal line in the middle, and you sew outside of that line and you cut them apart, and then you've got 2 half square triangles for each one. So you have 8 of the yellow in the background, and then 8 of the teal in the background. So that's how the directions are written for this one. It just kind of simplifies it a little bit. This is one where you'll want to use a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance when you're sewing your half square triangles to each other, but not while you're making them. When you're using your paper or making them, if you're not using paper, don't use your scant 1/4 inch here. You want to use it as you're sewing the completed half square triangles to each other. That's where you want to use your scant 1/4 inch. Okay, and the third one is called Lucky Clover. This one has more fabrics in it, and we have regular squares, like this will be a 4 patch. We have half square triangles. There's a 1 large patch in the center, and then just single squares. So a couple of half square triangles. Once again, I'm using triangle paper, and I've got those fabrics for 1 set and these for the other, right there. And you can see this one, they're both yellow, but you've got a darker yellow and a lighter yellow, so I chose those fabrics to do that. So we have those there, and then the teals, there's a more solid teal. It's not really darker, but the teal is in the background on this one, so it makes it appear darker, and then on this one there's more white in the background, so it looks lighter. So we've got lights going this way and darks going that way. And then in the center I chose this fabric, so that will go in the center. So that is Lucky Clover. These are all 12-inch blocks. So the reason I made them 12 inches is when I was going through the house and decluttering, I came across 3 toss pillows that were 12-inch pillow forms. I made the pillow covers for them just from pieces of fabric. They weren't patchworked. It was just fabric that I had, and I just took something out of my stash and made pillow covers for them. But I decided to just change them up and do something different with them. So we're going to do patchwork for those pillows eventually. Okay, here's the fabrics that I bought for the Christmas quilt. This is a charm pack by Moda. This is Home Sweet Holidays by Deb Strain, and it has some really pretty fabrics in it and has a lot of contrast. So we have some blacks, and these are some cardinals, snowflakes, some plaids, little holly leaves. There's truck, poinsettias, more trucks, more snowflakes, more holly leaves. It's just a really cute. There's some pine cones. It's really cute, and there's enough variety in the fabrics that I think this will work really well for what I want to do. And I'm just going to do some simple blocks. I'm not going to use anything too elaborate because they're going to be small. They're going to be 3 and 4 inches, so that way they can be used as individually as ornaments, or they could be put together to make a small quilt that you could use for a table topper or a placemat, or hang on your wall, whatever you want. So these fabrics I got at my local quilt shop. I just went by there a day or two ago, about 2 days ago I think it was, and asked them if they had any Christmas charm packs in, and they had a few. And I think these actually are from last year. I think the newer Christmas fabrics aren't in quite yet, but there's this one. And I bought two charm packs because I think I'm going to do this project both ways. I'm going to make a set of ornaments as well as a small quilt. because I can't decide what I want to do, so I'm going to do it both ways. This is Peppermint Bark by Basic Gray. This is also a Moda fabric, and this one has some more of a modern feel to it in some of the fabrics. This is kind of a grungy looking one. Some trees, some stripes, snowflakes, and then here's kind of a filigree design, and peppermints. There's two of those, and there's another green grunge. These little sprigs, peppermints, snowflakes. So we've got blacks and some greens in this one. A couple different colors of green, and then there's some reds. So the same prints, just different colors. And then here's some teals in here too. So I think this will be fun to work with. That one's real pretty. And there's that. I'd like to see a full piece of that. I'll have to go back to the store and look at that. But I was just focused in on the charm packs when I went in. So things are really hectic right now, and I don't have a whole lot of time to browse and do things. So when I decide to do something like go into the store and get fabric, I need to know what I want before I go in, so that I don't, spend an hour or two browsing when I really don't have that much time to browse. I've got a lot of packing to do. So anyway, those are those. So I am right now working on writing the patterns for these, and then I'll get to sewing on them. I packed up my backdrop quilt and the rack that it was hanging on, and I got all my quilts packed away, and so right now you're seeing just the wall behind me. There's a TV and a bookcase, and that right there is my dryer pipe. It's my vent pipe. So it's not very attractive, but it is what it is for right now. So eventually, when we get moved to the new place, things will be different, but for right now things will be kind of bare. So I will show you some photographs of the new place when I get it all set up and figure things out. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna do what I can, and as far as putting content online, it could be pretty short. I could miss a couple of weeks. I'm already down to once a week because that's all I've been able to manage, because it's just been so hectic, and we're not done yet. So I've still got a lot of packing to do, and we got to get movers arranged, and first we got to find a place to live. So it's going to be an adventure. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.